What's going on, everybody? Taylor Flannery with Muskie Guaranteed Guide Service. Today we are going to be talking about springtime lures and my top producers for that time of year. Usually that's anything from like our Iowa trip that we do before our season here in Wisconsin starts, all the way through like our, I want to say like mid-June time frame. I've never been a big like bucktail kind of person or whatever during that time. Anything straight retrieve really isn't my fancy. During the early part of the year in that colder water, I like a lot of jerk baits, a lot of glide baits, maybe a little bit of, pull pause kind of stuff as far as rubber goes. But let's get right into it. My favorite all-time springtime bait is one that is unfortunately not being produced anymore. This is a Phantom 6-inch softtail. I absolutely love these little baits. They do a phenomenal job for me. Every single spring I just crush fish on these. If you are not throwing a Phantom softtail, you are missing out. I really like the white tail on the back. I switch out all of my tails. I believe that it actually does make a big difference. Just a little bit of flash, and you can also see this bait coming a little bit better and know what that bait is doing visually with the little twitches of your rod and things of that sort. So these lures are great little small profile. They get over top of the weeds. Any kind of stumps or anything like that, you don't really have to worry about it. You're going right over top of the stuff, and fish just outright crush these things. So this is one that has been a staple for me for many, many years, and I fortunately have a little stockpile of these built up and will not be in a shortage of them anytime. But if you can find these things, these are absolutely money. I would not stray away from it. It is only a $20 or $30 little glide bait, stock glide bait. So go check those out. Great little tools. Next one on the list. This is a Hammer Customs Phil. And the reason this is named Phil is because the guy that makes these has a friend named Phil from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and he cannot run a glide bait to save his life. Absolutely hates them. But if you have a friend that cannot do something, you obviously you name a bait after them. So this is the Phil glide bait, and this is kind of the same thing as a Phantom, but it is a little different. It is wider bodied, and it actually has more of a belly roll to it as it is coming. Where like a Phantom is just kind of straight, side to side. Where this one will actually like roll a little bit every time that it walks. So these are nice little glide baits. Once again, they get over top of the weeds and over top of the shallow structure beautifully. And I'm really, really excited to throw these more coming into this spring. Next glide bait on the list, this is a Rusty's Custom 6-inch six sucker. If you can say that 10 times fast, you're onto something. These are wonderfully weighted glide baits. They sit and they hang and they glide really nice and wide and slow. You can also get them a little bit twitchy if you want. They can be overworked. If you're really pulling on them and whatnot, they will pop up out of the water. Each glide bait is different in its own right and how you work them. These ones are just barely little turns of the reel handle, or if you prefer to use the rod, just little tiny taps of the rod will get this bait to walk so easily side to side, and these things just absolutely crush fish. Rusty does a wonderful job with his painting and with his epoxies. These baits do not wear out very fast. He's also got this little blade on the back here, and that's nice as far as you also have a little bit of light, getting flashed around back there. You have a little added vibration, and also they will not get ripped off by muskies or pike or anything of that nature. These are great little gliders for the springtime as well as into the fall or cold fronts. I absolutely love these things. Go check out Rusty's Custom Lures. Another one from Rusty. This is the 5-inch Fortune Teller. This is one of the twitchiest little glide baits that I've ever used. I like to get at this thing just whack, 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 and just really darting side to side and then just hang it and pause it, and it'll kind of slow sink down and then just hit it again and get it really, really twitchy out there. The upsized one of this, you can kind of walk slower if you want in those colder temps, but this little one, you can get so twitchy with this thing and get those fish fired up when they don't really want to move for anything else. That is the Rusty's Fortune Teller 5-inch. Next on the list, this is a Conklin Pedigree. He also has this little blade in the back. He uses a hatchet blade, however. This bait is a completely different glider than what the Rusties or like say a Hellhound would be. This is a very, very tight glide. It's just snappy, really, really tight walk to it. And the reason it was designed like that is so that you don't have fish coming unglued on this lure and missing the bait. You have a very high hookup percentage on these lures. And he also does everything into the details. He's got this little highlight on the head so you can see this thing coming in. Same reason why I like the white tail on a Phantom is you can see that bait working out there and you can see what the tail's doing. Same with when he highlights the head like this, you can see that coming. I absolutely love these baits in the springtime. One of my favorite stories is the first time that I ever used a Conklin pedigree. I actually got the bait in the mail with drive time. Headed to the lake, unloading the boat, getting it in the water, and then getting out fishing. It took me about 25 minutes, and I had a muskie in the net on the pedigree. So this one is a forever confidence lure. Absolutely love these things. Once again, it is a hard to come by bait, but if you can get one, they are absolutely incredible little tools. So the Conklin Lures pedigree. Let's get on to some dive and rise. This is one of my favorite ways to target these things in the springtime is with a dive and rise. This is a Pandemonium Tackle SRJ. That's a slow rise jerk. What makes these so special is that they are pretty much very, very slow rising. I'm not going to say neutral buoyant, but they are very slow rising. And they also, inside of the nose here, they have a rubber little stop right there, and what that's going to do is anytime you bang into the rocks or you bang into wood or that other shallow cover, it's just going to hit that, and it's just going to kind of absorb that rubber nose there is going to absorb that hit, and you're not going to get a big wood chip or anything like that out of your lure and then make it non-runnable like you would say like a Suic or whatnot. Eventually they hit rocks and they're just done. But these SRJs, they have extremely incredible belly roll. So when they go down, they are just flashing that white belly and they're just rolling. You can feel it in the rod tip almost like a crankbait. And then they do just hang right in their face. So for neutral or inactive fish, high sky days, fishing shallow weeds, these things are absolutely incredible and I love them. This is the Pandemonium Tackle SRJ. Next on the list, this is a special tool. This is the Hammer Customs Hammer Jerk. This bait is one of one. There is no other bait like this on the market. I can tell you flat out that if you have one of these in your hands, you are going to catch fish. These are a bait that actually will shoot down, and they have really crazy belly wobble. They have really crazy belly roll going down, and then they sit, and when they stop, they actually will turn completely sideways, and then you'll twitch them down again and they'll turn completely sideways the other way. There is no better triggering aspect to a dive and rise lure than that turn back towards the fish. These things also, what makes them very special is that when you get into a figure eight with these lures, you can actually work them and they will swim just like a crankbait. So that tail will actually flutter kind of like this, and it will swim right around in the eight. You can hang it and it'll turn, it'll stop and turn. This is just an incredible bait. If you've seen anything on my Facebook page, you can see there's a figure eight eat on a 47, 48 inch or whatever it was. Just came unglued, committed suicide at the boat on this thing. But I'm telling you, this bait's 101, and I will say that I think it was opening weekend. I think we caught 14 fish on this little hammer jerk. And when I finally broke this thing, there was a crack in the epoxy in the back of the tail, which he's now fixed the problem of that. But there was a crack in the epoxy, and I did not want to break that bait any further to where I would not be able to use it later on. I wanted to have him take a look at it and check it out. But when I broke that bait and no longer was able to fish it, I have never felt lost in my boat, not knowing what to throw for any period of time ever in my life. And that was a time when that lure was working so well, and it is such a one-of-one style bait that I actually could not figure out what else those fish were going to key on. I did actually then settle on the SRJ, which is here. It does have a very similar action to it. but it is not quite what this one is. These also have a adjustable weight system in it here, where you can just pop out any standard, weight kit for Suick or Team Rhino Outdoors, anything like that, and you can change out those weights. You will do more for the runnability of these baits just by changing out the weights than you will messing with the tail. Nick Amoros is the one that makes these. He actually hand tunes all of these to begin with, runs them, make sure that they do what they're supposed to do before he ever puts a paint or a clear on them. And I can tell you that the heavier the bait goes, obviously the more it'll sit. It'll sit neutral buoyant if you get the right weight. But the more weight you put in it, it will dampen the kind of belly roll and the walk and the things that it does. So just keep that in mind. If you're fishing early season or really cold water, that extra weight will keep it down in their face, and it'll kind of limit the maneuverability of the bait a little bit. Still get some of the action, but usually this like an ounce weight or a 3/4 ounce weight in these hammer jerks is about exactly what you need for really any time of year. But this hammer jerk is one that if you can get your hands on it, you're going to absolutely love it. Next up, let's talk rubber. This is a 8-inch shallow swimming dog. I actually prefer the shallow version over the regular version just for the fact that you get more belly roll versus like a wiggle with the regular one. This shallow one, you will get that belly roll and really showing the underside and showing the contrast of the lure. For me, I really like just straight reeling these things, nice and slow, steady coming in, and then every now and again just pause it. And what it's going to do is it's going to be on its way in, and it's just going to drop the head. And when it drops the head, then you pick it up again. Usually you're getting smoked on that time frame when you drop that head for just that second. So just looking like you're wounded, being out of the norm, of a normal healthy swimming fish. A lot of times that is a trigger for these lures. It does not take anything fancy to work these, and you cannot work them wrong. So these are great little client baits where, you can cast them out, you can hop them in, you can reel them in, you can pull paws, you do whatever you want to do with them, and they will catch fish. But 8-inch shallow swimming dog, that's a winner for me early season. Next up, this is actually a mid Medusa by Chaos Tackle. I really like the mid size for really all times of the year. I will throw the mini as well in the early season. Those seem to do very well. A lot of times I will weight them with a 3/4 ounce to an ounce weight on the front hook hanger just to get that head to drop. But I do use a Medusa in the early season more so than I'll use a Bulldog, just for the fact that it does have a little more drag in the water and it falls a little bit slower, so you can get it through those fresh weeds and new weed growth and that shallow water that you're generally fishing that time of year. So I do like the Medusa a little better than the Bulldog in that time frame, but I use the mid and the minis a lot in the early part of the year. So go check those out if you haven't already. Catch fish everywhere they swim. And last but not least, this is Brady Martz out of Pennsylvania, the Bam Bam Bait Company swim fin. This is the 7-inch model, and as you can see here, I've actually do not have a hook on the back hook hanger. I upsized the front hook to a 3/0 BKK 21 spear. That's basically sitting, you can see even when it's flush to the body, it's sitting halfway in between on the body. We want to catch these fish. We don't want to kill them. These small little 7-inch baits, very, not so much, not really wide at all. These baits get inhaled, so we don't want a whole bunch of treble hooks down in their gills and then hitting into their tongue, killing fish. We only had like 1 or 2 fish come unpinned last year throwing these with just that one treble hook on there. You don't need, a whole bunch of hooks on something this small. So that small little bait with a 3/0 is more than plenty. And I will tell you that if you can get these things slack line ripping them, they will walk side to side and just hop like this back and forth. These things were absolutely killer in my boat, as well as the 9-inch. But this little 7-inch for the springtime is going to be absolutely deadly. I'm very excited about throwing these here in our upcoming trip down south, and I think we're going to put a lot of fish in the net on these. So if you have not checked out Brady Martz's swim fin, I would do so. If you haven't, you're missing out. Yeah, so let's hear it in the comment section. what are your favorite producers for early season muskies and springtime fishing. Thanks for checking it out. We'll see you on the next one.